Breaking news, Germany has legalized weed. Well, not fully legalized, they've started decriminalizing weed. Frimpong celebrated with an homage to the ganja. Leverkusen are now just one win away from being Bundesliga champions. Out of everyone, out of this whole situation, the fans, the team, I am most happy for Granit Xhaka. Athletic Club Bilbao are now Copa del Rey champions, and I can't imagine the feeling of winning the cup, the League Cup, with your brother. Hello! What's going on? It's your boy Elischa here, and welcome back to another episode of Evergreen. This is episode 5, and I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I appreciate y'all so much for your very valuable time, man. Listen, wherever you're watching this, I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling loved, and I hope you and your family are staying safe. As always, this is the football show for football fans by football fans, and let's get straight into it. First and foremost, Athletic Club Bilbao are now Copa del Rey champions after defeating Mallorca in penalties, 4-2 in penalties. The game ended 1-1, and we're going to kind of outline what happened and why this game specifically was so important, why this win was so important, and what the narrative is. And for me specifically, this was a dope win because of the two Williams brothers, Nico and Iñaki Williams, who play for Bilbao. And to me, their story is just really cool because you don't really see that in football. Like, the only thing closer to Nico and Iñaki Williams' story is Kevin Points Boateng and Jerome Boateng. So essentially, Atletico Bilbao in the final versus Mallorca. The game starts, Mallorca go up 1-1. They go up 1-1 from a corner. And that was caused by a mistake from Nico Williams. Then in the second half, Bilbao equalized the goal from Sunset, but an assist from Nico Williams. So he kind of redeemed himself from that mistake that cost them that first goal in the first half. It ended up going to penalties, and 4-2, Athletic Bilbao won the game. And now they're champions, and this story is super dope to me because both Iñaki and Nico played in the match. And I can't imagine the feeling of winning the cup, the League Cup, with your brother. Like, they're blood brothers. And there's a 7-year difference between the two. But essentially, Iñaki damn near raised Nico. Like, they're both born in Spain, both born in Bilbao from two Ghanaian parents who worked a lot. And so growing up, Iñaki basically helped raise Nico. He ended up going into professional football. He became a professional footballer, and that's what inspired Nico to go into football, to become a pro himself. And now the fact that they're playing in the same club and they just won their first trophy together is incredible to me. And they both chose, on the international level, they both chose their own different path. Iñaki is playing for Ghana's national team, and Nico is playing for Spain. And they voiced before that it's their dream to be able to one day play against each other on the international level. But this moment right there, to see these two brothers, man, you're looking at them, you're seeing them post their baby pictures, and Iñaki was in a Bilbao kit since he was a kid. And obviously, Atletico Bilbao only plays players who are from the city, who are from the town, they only play players who are from Bilbao. Iñaki is a legend for Bilbao. He's one of two players in La Liga, period, to ever appear in 200 consecutive matches. Mr. Consistency himself. And he's done so for his hometown club. And now you have Nico Williams, who's also playing amazingly for the club, being super consistent. He was the man of the match in that game and ended up assisting the goal that got them back into the match, who led up to the penalties. Heartwarming story overall, man. These are the type of things that sometimes, even as a rival, like, I don't care who you support, if you're a fan of the beautiful game, you love this story. But also, part of this raises the question of, what does this mean for Spanish football? I mean, right now, Atletico Bilbao are 5th in La Liga. They're 2 points behind Atletico. So the fairy tale might not end there. They might actually qualify this season for the Champions League. So imagine playing European football, not just European football. This is not just Europa, not to put down Europa, but now after winning the cup as brothers, next season playing together in the Champions League. Now even as a Barca fan, I have to root for Bilbao. I have to root for them to, at the very least, make it into the top 4 and get in, qualify for the Champions League, because I want to see this story of these two brothers continue on to the peak. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying I want them to win the Champions League, but if they make it next season and Barca get eliminated, I would not mind rooting for Athletic Club Bilbao to win the Champions League. Like, I know that might sound crazy, but then again, Leicester won the Premier League, so anything can happen in this game. But the fact that now they have a chance at qualifying after such a dope moment as brothers, let it keep going. I want to see more. I want to see the Williams brothers accomplish everything. I want to see them play against each other, Ghana versus Spain. I want Ghana and Spain to make it to the World Cup final, all that. Like, I want all of it for them because I love their story so much. Next up, we're talking about Manchester United. And this club goes through so much. Manchester United fans out there who are listening, who are watching this, listen, I feel for you. I'm going to make fun of you, but I honestly and truly, I do feel for you. Like, I get it. I get it. It's a painful, painful time right now. I'm a Barca fan, so I definitely sympathize with y'all. But we're going to be talking specifically about Manchester United versus Chelsea and Manchester United versus Liverpool. Now, United-Chelsea was a very interesting match because to me, honestly, I didn't think United were going to put up as much of a fight as they did. But they ended up proving a lot of people wrong. Like, they could still hang with some of the top teams. However, what looked like it was going to be an amazing comeback story ended up turning into a nightmare for United. Chelsea went up 2-0, and it just seemed as if they were the better team for majority of the game, especially in the first half. So it just seemed like after 2-0 that things were going to continue to go downhill for United and that they wouldn't come back. Now, Garnacho started to come back, pull one out for United. They ended up coming back 2-2. They went up. United went up 3-2. They went up 3-2 and somehow still fumbled the bag. They somehow managed to lose the lead. And yes, I understand. A lot of people are going to complain. They're going to say, oh, was that a penalty? Was that a penalty? Did Dalot commit that penalty at the end? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you get a 3. After going down 2-0, if you get the chance to go up 3-2 against this Chelsea team, you take it. Whatever is needed for you to get the win, you get the win. The fact that they let that slip is unforgivable. And to me, yes, it was a penalty. I know that might sound harsh. I know while United fans are in their feelings, they might feel like, no, that wasn't no damn penalty. He slipped. He fell. At the end of the day, footballers, I understand he might have slipped, right? Dalot might have slipped. But footballers are very, very sneaky. What to you looks like they might have slipped, to the referee who knows footballers and how smart and slick they are, looks intentional, right? And so, to me, intentions, not just to me, in football, intentions matter. If the referee felt like after watching through VAR that it was an intentional slip and that he meant to commit the foul to try and discombobulate the opponent, then that's what happened. The decision was made, equalized 3-3, and then the dagger in the end from Cole Palmer. That boy Cole, don't get me riled up. Don't get me started. That boy Cole Palmer is proving. He is living, breathing proof. Then I've told y'all this before, that it's not always the player. Sometimes it's the team. And it's not saying that there was something wrong with Man City or any other team that he was supposed to be at or go to. However, it's just sometimes the environment for a specific player is not conducive to their skills. Sometimes it just doesn't match up. Sometimes the team and the player just don't add up. It doesn't mean he's not good. It just means that's not the specific environment for him to succeed. And we're being shown right now, he's showing everybody, he's showing the whole world that he's really that guy. He's him, Himothy, Hemi Neutron. He was born in the Himalayas. But yeah, man, Cole Palmer and Chelsea broke a lot of Man United fans' hearts, and it didn't stop there. They had a very important game also on Sunday versus Liverpool, which obviously didn't end the way that they would have wanted to. But mostly for Liverpool, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the way things are going for United right now, sharing a point, getting that 2-2 is good enough for them. But United, one thing about United is they're not gonna get a win. They're not going to win no trophies right now, but they will spoil the party. Like, damn, happy birthday to me. Why? Just Why? Like right now, United are 6th in the Premier League, so they're definitely not winning the league. Like that's definitely out of the question. But there's a chance that they might not only not qualify for Champions League, but also for Europa. It's just not looking good for United. But the game ended 2-2 versus Liverpool. Shout out to Kobe Mainoo scoring a banger. But they just could not get the win. But it's my thing with United. Like you're not getting top 4. You're probably not getting top 5. Liverpool needs as many points as they can. So they're always going to be the ones to spoil the party. One thing for sure, two things for certain, this Premier League race is not going to be as clear-cut as a lot of people thought it was going to be before, man. Arsenal are back on top, 71 points. They're top of the league at number 1. Liverpool are number 2 also with 71 points, and Man City are right behind them at 70 points at 3rd place. Who's going? We can ask this every single week. Who's going to win the Premier League? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who's going to win the Prem. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who's going to win the Prem. Nobody knows. Breaking news, Germany has legalized the weed. Well, not fully legalized. They've started decriminalizing weed. And this is relevant to football because in a Leverkusen match in the DFB Pokal versus Düsseldorf, Frimpong and Aldi celebrated with an homage to the ganja. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but those rules do not apply to footballers. They don't apply to footballers. The decriminalization of marijuana is for civilians, right? The rules are still the same for athletes. And essentially, in Germany now, starting April 1st, if you're 18 and over, you're allowed to have up to 25 grams of marijuana on you in public. Every household can have up to 3 plants. They can grow up to 3 plants. And in public, generally, from the times of 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., you're allowed to use it as long as it's not around any sports centers, any pedestrian zones, or any schools. Baby steps, right? It's a lot of rules, it's a lot of things to remember, but baby steps. But essentially, this is still not for footballers, okay? Weed is still not for footballers or any athletes. I'm trying to help y'all to avoid the situation with Pogba. We don't want no confusion, so just know, because Germany changed the law does not mean as a footballer you could go and bun a little spliff, a little ganja. No, you can't. You can't. You are still a professional athlete. Because according to Section 28 of the World Anti-Doping Agency's banned substance section, cannabis in all forms is still banned, except for CBD. Now, CBD is essentially in cannabis, in marijuana, in weed. There's THC, which is the part of it that gets you high, and there's CBD, which is the part that has the medicinal values. This is the part that can use to heal things, right? So CBD, you're good. If it has THC in it, you're in trouble. Do not get banned for 4 years. I'm trying to help footballers. I'm trying to educate y'all so that y'all don't make the same mistakes that other players have done before. Leverkusen are now just 1 win away from being Bundesliga champions. Right now, they have 76 points in the Bundesliga. Bayern are at 2nd place with 60 points. And if they win their next match versus Werder Bremen, they will be the first Bundesliga champions other than Bayern Munich to win it in the past 11 years. Over a decade, and they're really about to do it. I'm extremely happy for Xabi Alonso, but I'm even more happy out of everyone, out of this whole situation, the fans, the team, I am most happy for Granit Xhaka. I'm really, really happy for Xhaka because Xhaka went through it. Y'all remember Xhaka spent 7 years at Arsenal suffering. I mean, he went through all the transitions, the good, the bad, and the ugly, 7 years. And at some point, it got ugly between him and the fans. Like, y'all remember that one game, I think it was in that one game in 2019 versus Crystal Palace, where he got subbed off, and the Arsenal fans were booing him. They were booing him, and he was so fed up. He was so upset. He was so fed up and just done with the whole Arsenal situation that he started to bark back. I mean, he was signaling them. He was barking back at them, and he even took off his kit after he walked off the pitch and threw his kit away. This was when Unai Emery was still coaching Arsenal. After that, he lost the captaincy, and he had to just lay low for a while, and things did get better. He did get back into the good grace of the fans of the team. Arteta came in, and things started changing, and essentially Arsenal really became a top contender, which, I mean, they almost won the league last year. His last year at Arsenal, and they were so close. So now that he's in a new team and they're about to make history and he could finally get that league trophy, I'm extremely happy for him, man. He deserves it. A very, very passionate player. One of those guys that you can tell he puts his heart and soul out on the pitch every single time he goes out there. So I'm happy for him, man. He's been through the mud. And I'm sorry. I don't know if he'll ever get the chance to really accomplish something with Switzerland. But the fact that now he's on his way to becoming Bundesliga champion and he's a staple part of that Leverkusen team, man, Leverkusen never losing, and they're still undefeated right now. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite league in the world, Major League Soccer, of course, MLS, and some transfer rumors coming into the MLS. Giroud might be going to LAFC. Now, those are just rumors for now. He's already voiced when reporters have asked them about it, he said, listen, I'm at AC Milan now, and that's what I'm focused on, which is, of course, media training. He's always going to say that. But now, yes, they're just rumors for now. But if Messi's rumors about coming to MLS can become reality, then there's no reason to think that Giroud's rumors to go to LAFC won't be true. And honestly, Giroud is the perfect player for MLS because Giroud as a player is MLS as a league. Let me cook. If you ever watch, without any knowledge of Olivier Giroud, if you ever watch a highlight reel of all of his goals, you would think he was the most legendary, greatest player of all time. Because this man only has bangers. He only scores aesthetic goals. He only scores good-looking goals. Like he'll have a few tap-ins here and there, but Giroud, for the most part, has one of the craziest goal highlight reels ever. Don't argue with me. And that's the same thing for MLS. If you're watching MLS, you would think, no doubt, this is the best league in the whole entire world because every goal is a banger. Every goal in MLS looks good. Every goal looks like something you could only do in FIFA. So they're perfect for each other. It's a match made in heaven. Giroud to LAFC makes complete sense. I want to see it. I want to see it. A guy who only scores good-looking goals in a league where only good-looking goals are scored, it makes perfect sense. Come over, Giroud. Olivier, on t'attend, on va t'accueillir. Tu peux venir à Los Angeles. Je sais que t'es fatigué de l'Europe parce qu'il fait froid tout le temps. Mais maintenant, tu vas venir à Los Angeles et il fait chaud. Viens, mon gars, on t'attend. Let's talk about everyone's favorite league in the world, Major League Soccer, of course, MLS, and some transfer rumors coming into the MLS. Giroud might be going to LAFC. Now, those are just rumors for now. He's already voiced when reporters have asked them about it, he said, listen, I'm at AC Milan now, and that's what I'm focused on, which is, of course, media training. He's always going to say that. But 9 times out of 10, now, yes, they're just rumors for now, but if Messi's rumors about coming to MLS can become reality, then there's no reason to think that Giroud's rumors to go to LAFC won't be true. And honestly, Giroud is the perfect player for MLS because Giroud as a player is MLS as a league. Let me cook. If you ever watch, without any knowledge of Olivier Giroud, if you ever watch a highlight reel of all of his goals, you would think he was the most legendary, greatest player of all time because this man only has bangers. He only scores aesthetic goals. He only scores good-looking goals. Like he'll have a few tap-ins here and there, but Giroud, for the most part, has one of the craziest goal highlight reels ever. And that's the same thing for MLS. If you're watching MLS, you would think, no doubt, this is the best league in the whole entire world because every goal is a banger. Every goal in MLS looks good. Every goal looks like something you could only do in FIFA. So they're perfect for each other. It's a match made in heaven. Giroud to LAFC makes complete sense. I want to see it. Listen, man, Olivier, on t'attend, on va t'accueillir. Tu peux venir à Los Angeles. Je sais que t'es fatigué de l'Europe parce qu'il fait froid tout le temps. Mais maintenant, tu vas venir à Los Angeles et il fait chaud. Viens, mon gars, on t'attend. Now, obviously, speaking of the league, we got to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And my boys at NYCFC are not doing too good, man. It's not looking good. They've only won one game. They just keep giving away a lot of late goals. I feel like there's a problem with focus for NYCFC right now. I've been to a couple games already for the start of the season, and it just seems like they lose it a lot in the ending minutes of the match. There has to be an emphasis of finishing through. Finish your plate. I know y'all eating. I know y'all got an appetite. I know y'all are hungry, but you got to finish your plate, NYCFC. You can't keep losing in the ending minutes of a match every single time. Finish your plate. You're hungry. The food is good. Finish it. Don't leave no crumbs. And it hurts even more because New York Red Bulls are at the top of the East right now. And they look good. They look good. I seen them in person. I went to a New York Red Bulls versus Inter Miami game when Messi still wasn't playing. He was injured. And they cooked them 4-0 for an easy work. They were the best team on the pitch the whole time. But speaking of Inter Miami, also, Lionel Messi is back to playing for Inter Miami and scoring for them again. He scored in a 2-2 draw for Inter Miami versus Colorado Rapids. And they almost won that game, but the big dog, Cole Bassett, came through and equalized the share points between Colorado and Miami. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good week to be named Cole. Cole Bassett got a late equalizer against Inter Miami. Cole Palmer got a hat trick against United. And J. Cole just dropped a banging diss track. Hey, hold on. Cole Palmer's full name is Cole Jermaine Palmer. Cole Jermaine. Jermaine Cole. J. Cole's name is Jermaine Cole. Oh, there's no correlation. there's no correlation, but it's cool. It sounds cool. But yeah, man, big shout out to Cole Bassett. Homegrown too, like some Colorado corn. But yeah, Messi is back for Inter Miami. And yes, they did look weak without him. But what do people expect? Like, I feel like this is a conversation that we don't need to be having. Yes, Lionel Messi, any team that he's on, they're going to look weaker without him, especially a growing Inter Miami team. Messi playing for Miami with Suarez, Jordi Alba, Busquets, it's great for marketing, right? It's great for marketing. But then what happens in 2025 when his contract expires and he decides to leave? Like, are they going to fall into an ever-ending cycle of just trying to get big names for the marketing every single time? I mean, we've seen Beckham having dinner with Neymar, and I know that they wasn't just talking about the weather like Rashford did to him. So I know they're talking some way, somehow about him coming to MLS and playing for Miami. But honestly, I don't mind that. I think that there's a bigger play here. I don't think Beckham and Inter Miami are just doing it just for the marketing. Because you have a lot of young players in Miami. I mean, you have guys like, you have guys like Tyler Hall, Israel Boatwright. Those are all 18-year-olds. Felipe Valencia is 19. You have a very young team. And other than just the marketing, these youngsters are getting to learn from some of the best players of our generation. These youngsters in Miami, they're learning from Lionel Messi, Suarez, Busquets, Jordi Alba, even Drake Callender, who's the oldest goalkeeper there, is still only 26. And yes, I do think that getting some of these high-profile players is an investment into the brand, but these young players are also getting the opportunity to learn from some legendary players. So I think it works on both sides. This Inter Miami project is a long-term one. I'm not expecting them to just start winning everything right away, especially since the guys that they're acquiring, a lot of them, those legendary players that they're acquiring, a lot of them are older. So it's just we're not going to see just immediate success all the time. But I do feel like in the next 5 years, we're going to see those seeds blossoming. We're going to see that plan come to fruition very soon, and Inter Miami will be a problem to deal with. Now, as always, as part of the show, we don't just talk about footy, but we also go on adventures. I go on adventures all throughout the weeks, just so to give y'all a new dimension, to give y'all an extra something as part of this show, as this segment where we go out in the streets and we just vibe out, really. Like, I just be doing side quests for real. But this week I had the pleasure of being a guest host on the Soccer Hooligans podcast. And, you know, I know y'all watching Evergreen and you might be wondering, what does it take to put together a show like this, right? So I thought it would be fun for me to go on there, vlog the experience, and get some tips and tricks from the Hooligans, and just to give y'all an insight as to what it really takes to run a soccer show, to run a football show, a podcast, or some of the sort. And, you know, I could tell y'all, but I can show y'all and get the perspective of other people even more. So if you're somebody who's trying to start a career in football, in the media, in podcasting, and content overall, this is the place for you. I'm going to show y'all a little insider about how the ins and out work. Without further ado, see for yourself. The spot right now, and I'm really interested to see. I'm going to try to take y'all through kind of how they operate, how they do things. Because I know how I shoot Evergreen. I know how I do my stuff. I know how I film my content. But everybody got their own process. So we're going to ask the Hooligans. We're going to ask Christian specifically because I think Alexis is not going to be here today. But I'm going to try to just take y'all behind the scenes so we can see the ins and outs of a football show and how they, you know what I'm saying, how all the settings work. We're going to try to get y'all, I'm going to try to get y'all the exclusive of how the Hooligans operate. So y'all get an insight. So maybe if you're trying to get into the football content space, if you're trying to start a show on your own, you can kind of get an idea of how to do things. So I'm going to be y'all plug, y'all guide for today. Let's get it. I hope I'm at the right spot, because if you walk through the wrong building in New York, you never know where you're going to end up. So. Oh, this is it. This is it. I found it. I'm not going to lie, I thought I walked into the wrong building.
What's up, brother?
What's going on?
Look at this.
I'm vlogging.
We're vlogging in the studio. Welcome.
Yeah. I've been spoiled already. I got free water. You know what they say? Great things come in small packages. Okay, there's preparation that goes into this. Like we talk about.
Got my notes?
Yeah, we got cue cards and notes.
But no, comedy's hard, folks. It seems like it's just two clowns being clowns. And it's like, oh, they don't prepare, they're dumb. You see comedians get canceled all the time. You know how difficult it is to walk the tightrope that is American soccer? You can't say the wrong thing even remotely. Hey. And they're not gonna.
Oh, we got mood lights. I don't know. It just got a little romantic in here. I don't know if that was.
That's the point.
That's okay. What's the most difficult thing about doing this show?
The most difficult thing.
Alexis.
Nah,
stand by that. Stand by that.
Cheap shot. Yeah, honestly, Alexis would say the same thing, so it's not even crazy. I think the most difficult thing is social media, editing videos.
Yeah.
Like that's the work. This feels like the fun, and then everything else around it. You know, dealing with like dumb comments, or you know, you talk about anything that's like a mildly controversial subject, and then all of a sudden the trolls are like, I never comment on anything, but now is my time.
Yeah.
I want to be heard. That's probably the annoying part, but that's like the thing, you know, people deal with that. If you work in soccer, in sports, that's part of the game, bro. So that's it.
One piece of advice you could give somebody going into the soccer media or content space that you think could help?
I say this all the time. Be consistent. Do not stop. If it's something that you really want to do, you have to. And I'm coming from this also as a stand-up comedian, because it applies the same thing. You're not gonna make a lot of money, especially at first. You're not gonna find a lot of success. You're not gonna have a lot of followers. But if you are consistent, you are doing more than most. I always bring up this stat. If you look at podcasts, how many podcasts, people are always overwhelmed. They're like, why would I start a podcast? There's a million podcasts. And then you look at how many podcasts have 2 episodes, then it's like 500,000. Then you look at how many have 3 episodes, then it's like half that. And then once you get to like 10 episodes, now it's only like, it might be like 100,000. That's not as daunting, it's not as intimidating. So the soccer community is very small, even if you don't have a lot of followers. If you're doing the work, people will see it. People that have influence, people that can give you an opportunity and give you a job. So that's kind of the main thing. Don't, even I'm looking at Elischa's Instagram, 88,000, right? We only have like 30 something, 30, what do we have? 31,000.
Not only, that's 30,000.
It is 30,000, but yes, I would love to have 88,000 like Elischa. But we do something different. We're like kind of in different lanes. And but the main thing is that we're both finding ways to thrive. Yes. And that's the thing. It makes it, by looking at follower counts, it makes it seem like, like they got it all figured out. They're doing fine. Yeah. And it's like, even if you have a 100,000 followers or 1,000 followers, you still have to do the same amount. You still have to do the work. Yeah. So that's kind of like the main. It's easy to get be negative and pessimistic, but the community is so small that you don't need millions of followers to really do anything. You can actually get involved in the business in a lot of different ways. So that's it. Consistency and pursue your dreams, bro. That's all you need to do.
Woo! Christian for president. Now, before you keep watching, make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you download the episode. Make sure you follow. Make sure you rate the show 5 stars so that the profile could keep rising and more football fans all over can find us. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. But this is the part of the show where I answer your burning, passionate, intuitive, inquisitive questions. I don't know if inquisitive is a word, but I'm gonna roll with it because it sounds nice. But Ruben G Star 568 says, is it right for clubs to be bought out and owned, or should they have presidents? That's an interesting question. Is it right for clubs to be bought out and owned, or should they have presidents? I think they can have both, honestly. I think most football clubs do have both. Most football clubs are owned by, whether it's one person or a group of people. There's minority, there's majority owners. People have stakes, like I spoke about in, I think it was episode 1. LeBron had minority stakes in Liverpool, but Fenway Sports Group now owns the majority of Liverpool. So yeah, but they still have a president. They still have GMs. They still have athletic directors. There's different executives in each football club who play different roles. And I do think that, football is a business. A lot of people, like in Germany especially, it's not as capitalistic a system. It's more so owned by the club members, like the fans more so own the clubs. The system in Germany is really interesting. But I do think that as a business, if it's profitable, why not be owned by a bigger entity that can help the club grow, that can help, whether it's renovation with facilities or acquiring bigger, better players, higher profile players, because that takes a lot of money. So I don't mind the ownership of clubs. As long as it's being ran fairly and ethically, that's all that really matters. Because again, a lot of people work hard their whole lives to be able to be in a position to be professional footballers. So the more money is being brought into the game, the more these players are making, the more they can realize their dreams and provide for their families. And I can never be mad at that. But that was a really good question. Another question from Ruben G Star 568. Shout out to Ruben G Star, man. You asking a lot of great questions. Question number 2: Will Pep ever return to Barca, or will his next mission be 2026 World Cup with Spain? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if he's doing either. I do not think that Pep will ever go back to Barcelona. I think he's more of like, I start one journey, I end the chapter. Like he starts a journey and finishes it and never looks back. I don't think he will ever coach Barca. As much as I would like for him to be the next Barcelona manager, I do think that also the city position, the city job has been so much for him over the past few years. I mean, you see Klopp in Liverpool. I know that being a manager of such a high-profile, intensely competitive team like Man City must be taxing. So after City, I don't see Pep going to a team like Barcelona, especially since we're lacking a lot of structures right now. Like Barca's going through a weird transitional time. I would see Pep going there if the team was a little bit more established, if there was a little bit more structure, but it just needed somebody to just lead an already existing like foundation. Right now, Barca's going through a lot of changes. And in terms of the Spain position, I think that's a little more feasible, but I feel like Pep has spoken up about that already and said that he's not going to coach Spain, or at least that he won't speak about it. But who knows? He's Spanish. It could happen. But I don't know what's going on through his bald head. Right now, I know he's focused on Man City. So until it's approaching the end for him in Manchester City, I don't think we'll know we won't have a clue as to where he's going next. I mean, look at Klopp. He's announced that he's leaving Liverpool, and we still don't know what his next step is going to be. So next up, MBKC Suwad 3516. God damn. He or she says, should Klopp join Dortmund ASAP or should he take a longer break? Yeah, I think Klopp deserves to take a break from football, man. I mean, Pep took a break after Bayern, and why not? Take a break. The managerial position is a very, very intense one. You win, you don't get really the credit. You don't really get the credit when you win. You lose, all the blame falls on yourself, and you have to be the type of guy also who's able to put the blame on yourself. So it's a very intense job. It's a job that requires for you to be away from your family. It's one where it's a 24/7 job. Like, your mind is constantly running. You're constantly trying to think of ways to improve the team, to make the environment better. You're managing egos. Like, being a manager is not easy. So if a guy like Klopp, who has had a successful career, is telling y'all that, yo, I'm tired. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've won the Champions League, I've won the Premier League, but your boy is tired. Like, damn, if he's saying that, then he's truly tired. And yeah, I think he should just take a break. Honestly, spend some time with his family, like, just chill out a little bit, rejuvenate his brain, and then think about what his next steps are. I don't know. I don't think that he's thinking about the very next step in managing right now. I think he's just trying to finish this season and take a break and breathe, which he deserves. Now, I appreciate y'all so much for submitting your questions, man. Every single week, make sure y'all DM'd, email, send a messenger pigeon, whatever. Ask questions. Let me know about yourselves, man, and we're going to talk about it right here on Evergreen. And before we get out of here, as always, every week, also, I got to leave y'all with a quote of the week. And this one is from French philosopher René Descartes. And it says, I think, therefore I am. And as simple as that quote is, it perfectly represents how powerful the mind is. It perfectly represents how important it is for you to filter, to be conscious of what is it that you're thinking of? What is it that's occupying real estate in your mind? I think, therefore I am. What do you think about yourself? I'm challenging y'all this week. What do you think about yourself? What do you think about your abilities? What do you think about your life? What do you think about where you are right now, your environment? And if it's anything other than what you truly want it to be, then you need to start changing your mindset. Your brain is extremely powerful. Your mind is powerful. Whether you think of it, whether you agree to it or not, it is a fact. So this week, I challenge y'all to think what you want to be. I think, therefore I am. Think what you want to be. Think where you want to be. Think who you want to be around. Think what you want your life to look like. And when you think it, you will be it, man. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning into episode 5 of Evergreen. I love y'all. I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Make sure y'all stay good. Make sure you love yourselves, love each other, love the people around you, love and enjoy your life. Have fun. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.